Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening everybody. Welcome to another video. So, in my last video where I talked about pest farming, I mentioned some pretty hefty requirements, which are farming level 40 and farming level 50 to start pest farming. Well, you might be thinking, that will take days. 40 is a lot, right? Well, lucky for you, this video is about getting farming XP. But before we start, of course, the disclaimer. This video is based off my own experience, so with that in mind, there are many ways to maximize getting that XP, but I won't be getting into that as I am not experienced in that. Anyways, with that all out of the way, let's get into it. Okay, so the way we're going to be getting the XP is from farming mushrooms. This is my 5-plot mushroom farm. The design is by minmax. I will link his video in the description. You guys can make this on your own garden. But before we start farming, first we have to unlock the requirement to unlock the mushroom crop. So let's get into the progression. Basically, your first goal is to get garden level 9. This will unlock the mushroom crop that we are going to be farming. The way I got most of my garden XP to unlock garden level 9 is from my crop milestones. Of course, if you're still starting, wheat is going to be your only crop, so you're going to want to farm this until you reach another garden level in which you unlock more crops, and then you farm that milestone until you unlock more crops, and you unlock more, and then you just basically level up the milestone on all of these crops until you get garden level 9 in which you unlock mushroom. Another thing that will help you get the milestone are pests. Basically, pests will spawn after a certain cycle, and you can look at this through the tab menu. You can look at the top right, there's the pest menu, and there's cooldown. Right now, the cooldown says that it's ready, so basically if I start farming crops, there is a chance that pest will spawn. Now, after the pest spawn, you want to kill it, and it basically gives extra crops. It also counts towards your milestone. And after that, the cooldown will start again, and you basically have to wait for it to be ready. And in the meanwhile, you can start farming your crops, and then when it's ready, you have to look out for the pest spawning. That was basically a simplified down explanation of pest farming. I will not get into details as it is all in my pest farming guide. So if you guys want to optimize it, you guys should check that out, but this is still early game and I wouldn't recommend fully tackling into pest farming yet. Alright, so let's say you already got garden level 9. Congratulations, you can finally build the mushroom farm. This is my mushroom farm. It spans across 5 plots from this edge to that edge over there. My render distance won't load, so yeah, don't worry about that. This farm design is by minmax. I will be giving the link to his video down in the description below. It is pretty simple to make. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention. We farm mushroom because that is the crop that will give the most XP per hour. That's all, thank you. So now what? You got garden level 9. And you got your mushroom farm. Well, let's get into the gear. For the armor, you can basically use any armor in the farming progression. The first armor is of course the melon armor, and then you can upgrade it to crappie, and then you upgrade it to squash, and then after that the fermento at farming 40, and helianthus at farming 50. You don't need to worry about the base armor so much because the base stats does not give farming wisdom, which we need to get more XP. So there are reforges that you can get on the armor that will give farming wisdom. I will talk about that later, but for now, let's move on to the tool. Right here I have my fungi cutter. I only upgraded it to MK2 because the upgrade to MK3 takes some money and to me that wasn't worth it. The reforge that you want is blessed as it is the only one that gives farming wisdom. The main enchant for farming wisdom is cultivating, as it will give more farming wisdom the more you level it up. The other enchants I have here, which is harvesting 5 and turbo mushroom, is not needed at all. It's only for farming fortune and mushroom fortune. It is purely to make me more money. The base equipment that you use don't really matter, as none of the equipment give farming wisdom, but there are reforges, and I will talk about that later. So with that in mind, if you want to farm normally, I suggest you get your Lotus equipment and then Blossom. But if you're planning to pest farm in the future, you can get your Pest Hunter and Pest Vest. The next thing I want to talk about, which is a quality of life item, is the Squeaky Mouse Mat. This is not necessary, but it will help you basically snap to the direction you need it for the mushroom farm. The next item I want to talk about is a quality of life item, which is the Squeaky Mouse Mat. This is not necessary, but it will help you snap to the direction that you need for the mushroom farm. I have my selected yaw at 74 and my selected pitch at 6.9. This will vary depend on your farm, which I will be telling you in a bit. Basically, the setting for my Squeaky Mouse Mat is specific for the farm that are facing south. So if I left click this, I snap to the angle that I need, and then I can just start farming. Okay, moving on, we got the pet, and the only pet that you will need is simply the legendary rabbit pet, as it gives 30 farming wisdom. Okay, so if you have finished the garden tutorial, you've come across this guy, Jeff. If you right click him, it will open up the chips menu. But you can also open it from your Skyblock menu and then manage chips. These are your chips. They basically give a lot of different stats, but the only one we will be focusing is the Soul Edge. The Soul Edge chip will give you farming wisdom based on its level and its rarity. The way you get the rarity up is by consuming more of the chip. You can get the chip from the bazaar, or if you're Iron Man, you can get it from the Skymart. I wouldn't suggest a normal profile to buy from the Skymart because copper is just really valuable. But if you're Iron Man, I guess this is your only option. So the way you level up the chip is by using Sawdust. Sawdust is a currency similar to Heart of the Mountains powder, but it is kind of harder to get since it's primarily from farming and from greenhouse. I suggest not to put any Sawdust into anything else because you won't be needing all of this. Just max out your Soul Edge, and then after you get your farming level, you can reset it and then distribute it across what you need. Moving on, let's get into the Reforges. The Reforges I save for this section because it is not necessary, and I will tell you why. There are two Reforges that gives farming wisdom for armor and for equipment. The first is the Sunstone. It gives the Sunny Reforge to armor. It gives 5 farming wisdom. And for the equipment, it is the Lunar Reforge. It will give plus 3 farming wisdom. The reason I don't recommend to use the Reforge is because at the end, it's going to be replaced anyway. So, the Reforge that you want to get is basically what you need for farming. If you want to farm normally, you can use Mossy. Or if you want to pest farm, you can also use Mossy, but Manted is always an option. And for the equipment, at the end of the day, if you want to farm normally, you can get Rooted. Or if you want to pest farm, you can get Squeaky. So, the Reforges, they cost around 1 million. And at the end, you're gonna replace it anyway, so why bother? At least that's for me. Earlier, I mentioned Pest helping you get milestone, but I didn't mention that it also gives farming XP. Not by much though, but it's still a considerable amount. So it is always nice to have a vacuum ready to kill the pest. And yeah, that's all. Okay, so for the demonstration, it is pretty simple. There's not much to do. You just use your Squeaky Mouse Mat, left click it, and use your fungi cutter. You press A and W at the same time, and start farming. Okay, that should be all for the video. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys are still confused, please leave a comment down in the description below. I will be sure to respond to them when I am not busy. With that out of the way, I hope you guys have a very nice day. I hope you guys have a very nice rest of the year. Peace out.